y'all, it's Farmer MeeMaw, and I am a hot mess on a mission. And today's Monday, Thanksgiving is Thursday, so right now my mission is to get everything organized and do what I gotta do ahead of time so that I'm not just running around like a chicken with its head cut off on Thanksgiving Day. Now, I want to show you today, I want to show you some of the things that I'm doing to kind of help myself stay organized and how I'm kind of creating a more ADHD-friendly kitchen. But I'm also going to show you 2 recipes, maybe 3, that I am doing that are super simple and they're not keto friendly, but they are picky eater friendly. I'm a picky eater, always have been. My kids are picky eaters. These are dishes that are really, really yummy, and they are super quick and simple, and honestly, just not only are they just good enough. I'm gonna make stuffing. I'm gonna make green bean casserole. The stuffing, my husband is a bit persnickety about his stuffing. Well, I say persnickety. He wants it simple. He doesn't like Southern cornbread dressing, and so I'm having to make something more like a stuffing, except we don't stuff it here. And I made some the other day. He really liked it, and so I'm going to show you how I made it super, super simple. And then I'm going to make some mashed potatoes, but more importantly, I am making a topping for my mashed potatoes. So we'll get to that, but first let me show you how I'm kind of keeping myself sane during this time. Now, y'all know, you may not know, obviously I have ADHD and I have a family history of dementia, and as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that my memory is not near as good as it could be and probably as it should be. And my husband keeps telling me things that I've recently said, and I'm just like, no. Like, he was telling me I kept complaining about the smudgies inside my truck, like on the inside of the window of my truck, like constantly apparently, and I was like, I have no memory of complaining about that repeatedly or it even being a problem. So anyway, so here's what I'm doing right now. And I've used this before. You've heard me talk about it before, but here's the exciting part, you guys. So Teami blends, they have just some really, really good health products, including skincare. It's not just about just the internal goodness, but some external goodness as well. But let me just tell you, it's the superfood blend, the Teami greens. I've been making shakes with this, and they are so good. It doesn't taste green. I put it in like chocolate, almond butter, banana, or whatever, and it adds an element of freshness. It doesn't taste green. Like a berry smoothie tastes like a berry smoothie, except it just tastes fresh. I can't explain it. This stuff is so good, and it is so powerful, and every time I drink this, y'all, have a good day. I feel better. It has so many wonderful ingredients. You need to check them out. And here's the exciting part, y'all. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna say it wrong. I have a discount code right now. 30% off of any order that's $50 or more. Okay, if you spend $50 or more, you use my code and you get 30% off of any order. And my code is, you guys, hang on about the code. Whoops. Let me find my code. I want to give you the right code, because wouldn't that be awful? Wouldn't that just be terrible? Okay, so Jennifer Holiday 10, all caps, JENNIFER, Holiday 10. And that will get you 30% off of anything $50 or more. Okay. Now, that's all this month. The rest of November, you can use that code. And then from Black Friday through Cyber Monday, there will be a new code. You can't use it yet, but as soon as I get that code, I will give it to you, and that is for 50% off, okay? And so right now, you can use Jennifer Holiday 10 to get 30% off, and I will leave a link below. I will leave the code below. I will leave everything, all the information you need below, okay? But let me just say, like, they also have a detox tea blend, and I'm going to be using it probably as soon as the holidays are, well, as soon as Thanksgiving is over. I'm probably going to need it, but I'm trying to do better at taking care of my body and my brain, and detoxing is really important to me. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing today is actually related to detoxing, and I'm going to be dehydrating some pineapples because pineapples are really good for you and they help your body to detox. Now, one of the things that I'm doing before I get into the recipes, let me show you some of the things that I'm doing to stay organized. Number one, I've made a list of what I'm going to do, and that is really important. Another list that I've made. So here are a couple of the things that I'm doing in order to stay organized. Number one, I have a list. The Thanksgiving menu, you can't see, but it says Thanksgiving menu. Woo, there you go. Thanksgiving menu. And here are all the things that we're making. But I have marked through the things that my daughter is making. Everything that's left behind is my responsibility. And as I think of something I want to add, this over here was a dish that I was thinking about adding, and I may, because I made it the other day and it was delicious. And so something else that I'm doing, let me scoot over here. You get to see my dirty counter over here. These are all of the important dates coming up, and this one is Thursday. I need a visual reminder of what day it is and how much time I have left so that I can stay on target. Obviously, I go down all the way down to Christmas and New Year's. And so again, all of this is just to kind of keep track of what's going on. Now, let me show you some of the organization that I've been working on recently. Okay, so you see up there, don't look at how dirty that vent is, but up here I have, or the walls, oh my goodness, ignore the dust on the wall, y'all. So up here I have a couple of buckets. I have labeled clearly what is inside the bucket. I'm keeping things up there out of the way, things I don't use all the time. Instead of having them cluttering shelves or in cabinets, I'm putting them up here so I can find them when I need them, but they're not taking up precious counter, cabinet, and shelf space. Okay, so you've heard me talking recently about getting some organization done, and this is part of it. I took a lot of things out of boxes and bags, and I put them, these are mostly my husband's and my snacks, because you see, obviously, this top shelf is all nuts, pretty much completely nuts. We've got, well, and some raisins, we've got walnuts, we've got slivered almonds, whole almonds, pecans. Over here we've got peanuts, cashews, more whole walnuts. And then down here, I've got a bunch of oatmeal stuff. I have cranberries and raisins, oatmeal, cereal, hemp hearts, sugar-free chocolate chips, more cashews, and further down, let me see if you can you see this? I've got marshmallows, and then I have some sprinkles that I got for 91 cents on clearance at Sam's. Oh, and you guys, I made biscotti with a cake mix. That was pretty cool. And then down here, I had down on the bottom shelf. Let's go down a little bit. All right, and so here is the bottom shelf, and this is basically the snack station. Crackers, marshmallows, there's some goldfish s'more blend there, Rice Krispies, some popcorn, more popcorn over here, applesauce, granola bars. And so this is kind of mostly for the kids snacks. And so let me bring you around to some of my other shelves. Okay, so the next ones will be a little less obvious if you didn't see the before, but just imagine everything shoved bumper to bumper, clutter, dust, just junk everywhere, okay? Including a lot of glass containers, mason jars of all different shapes and sizes in no particular order, just complete and utter chaos, okay? Now, and just like appliances just shoved onto shelves. All right, so here is what we have now. Now, this shelf is sprouts and fermenting stuff, and I need to redo this shelf, so ignore it because I'm not done. But up here, you see all that's on that shelf. Let me just swing around. All that's on that shelf right there is a crock pot and then stoneware stuff. And then I have over here, all I have is this is everything on the shelf. That my kombucha's in the back. This is my glass that I test my kombucha with. Crock pot and the things that I use pretty regularly. And then this is more fermenting stuff. These are things that belong to my grandma's. All right, so down here is my cast iron roaster, my mortar and pestle, and some candle holders. And then over here, more stuff that belongs to my grandma, one of my grandmas, my bowls and my cookbooks. And down here is my cast iron Dutch oven. So the reason I did this is that it is getting things out so I can see them. There's not visual clutter or chaos. And then like with the nuts and things like that, it's visual. I can see it. It's easily accessible. I know where it's at. And it's basically categorized so that they're not going to be hard to find. And that's what I'm doing to keep myself organized. Now it's time to get busy and make some of those dishes. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is make the very basic mix, which is a pretty classic, you know. We're getting our cream of chicken. Okay. Now we're gonna add a little bit of milk to dilute that a little bit. Oh, we should probably turn the fire on. That helps. Okay. Move this over here this way. Okay. So we're going to thin this out a little bit. Now, we're going to add some spices to this. First thing we're going to add is salt, pepper, garlic, and we just have a mix that's salt, pepper, and garlic. So we're going to put all that together. Ooh, turn down the fire. And now y'all know that green bean casserole usually has onions in it. So I'm just using onion powder because I don't have time to cut onions. I got onions and enough other stuff. I don't want onions in my casserole. Okay. So now we're going to do this. Now we're going to dump in. Keep that fire on low. We're dumping in our drained green beans. Okay. They've been drained. There's 1, 2. Now we're just going to stir this up until they're good and coated, okay? And it'd be nice if they were warmed up a little bit, but it's not really necessary. Okay, so that looks good. So we're just going to let them get warmed up for just a minute. Let them keep warming up. Okay, now that it's warmed up, we've turned the fire out. Now we're going to pour it into our dish. Now you can easily double this if you're feeding a crowd. And you can certainly put it on, or put it in a nicer dish. And so now what we're going to do, here's the fun part, y'all. Have you seen this before? We're going to put this we're going to sprinkle it with cheese. Alright, so we're going to put cheese on it. We're going to spread it all out. Okay. Now, you guys, here comes the best part. Got cheese. Now we're going to put some bacon bits, you guys. These are real bacon bits that I got from Walmart. Not Walmart. Ooh, knocking them in the floor. I think I got them from Costco. Alright. So I got a little bacony flavor here. Okay. And now instead of onions, because, you know, not everybody likes onions or not everybody wants onion breath. And you can do this all the way around, or you can do it half the way around. You can put them butted up against each other. I think I'm actually going to spread them out a little bit this time. These are tater tots, you guys. So it's like kind of a cross between a big green bean casserole and a tater tot casserole. Maybe you love green bean casserole and tater tot casserole, but you can't justify fixing two different dishes. Maybe, you know, you're only going to bring one dish. Why don't you make it a combination of the two? Okay. So I'm not going to put them, you can put them solid. You can make a solid thing. I'm not going to do a solid thing. I'm just going to do like every other space. I'm going to leave a space. But you can certainly put your tater tots up against each other. And when I cook this, I'm going to cook it in the, and there you have it. I'm going to be cooking it in the, there you go. This is what it looks like before it's cooked. And I'm about to put it in I'm about to put it in my air fryer. And I'm going to cook it for the amount of time that we cook tater tots. And I think that's like 360 degrees for about 15 minutes. Oh my gosh, you guys. Look at this. Hot. Alright, so while that's cooling off, we're going to go ahead and get started on the other stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start, is that paper? Okay. I'm going to start melting my butter while I chop up the rest of my stuff. Now, most of y'all know the basics. Let me see if I can get this where you can see it. Okay, most of y'all know the basics of, you know, any kind of thing like this. You're going to start out, I'm just cutting the ends off. You're going to need celery and onion. And I went ahead and chopped up an onion the other day whenever I was making this the first time. And I just froze what was left. And so I'm going to use the rest of that. There's not an exact measurement. You know, if you like more onion flavor, add more onion. This is probably about 1/3 of a cup, maybe. And one stick of celery that I'm going to toss up. And I'm going to put it in really small size chunks because I'm not crazy about celery. Okay. So my butter is working on melting. And yes, that was a whole stick of butter. Because that butter plays an important role. So, okay. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to come over here to our butter. We're going to go ahead and add our onion. Look, yeah, it's frozen. Because it needs to start melting. It is okay if yours isn't frozen. It doesn't matter. Just add your onions in there. It's just going to take mine a little bit longer to cook up. No big deal. And I'm going to add my celery. And you see how, I mean, it's pulverized, right? I don't like celery. I don't like the feel of celery. I like the taste just because it enhances the flavor that's already there. And so now we're just going to start mixing everything up. Hopefully my onions will start to melt pretty quickly on the fire. Might need to let me raise the fire a little bit. Let me flip it over or something. Okay, so now we're just going to let all of these flavors marry together. And while that's happening, I'm going to get down my spices. I'm going to need, I think of the word star, S-T-R, sage, thyme, and rosemary are the 3 star spices when you're talking about Thanksgiving, and especially stuffing or dressing. You want rosemary, you want thyme, and you want sage. And of course, we've got our salt, pepper, garlic right here. That's just our basic house seasoning here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of garlic to this mix. Okay, so one of the most important things about stuffing is the bread. All I did for this bread was I bought some loaves. They're kind of like buns or something from Walmart. They come in 24 packs. They look kind of like a small sub roll. And I chopped some up, put them in the oven at about 200 degrees, 200 to 225, until they were completely dry. And I will use those here in just a minute. All right, so I'm waiting for the onions and the celery to get a little more translucent. And then we're going to add our breadcrumbs. While we're waiting for that to cook, I think I'm going to go ahead and taste the green bean casserole. Okay, so now I'm going to try this, you guys. I'm going to try too much. Just a little bite. Alright, so now I'm going to try the green bean casserole that's been kind of crossed with a tater tot casserole. I mean, what's not to like, y'all? The green beans, the cream of chicken, cheese, bacon. Carrot. Okay. Alright, so this is cooked down the way we want it to. Now, oh, first we're gonna add our sage, rosemary, and thyme. So here's our sage. You need plenty of sage. Sage. Rosemary. And thyme. Whoop! Thyme always gets me. Can never have too much thyme. Maybe you can. Okay. So I want to get all this squared away, mixed together. Okay. And the next thing we're going to do is add all of our bread. And we're going to soak it up. And you notice that bread, it's like all of a sudden all that butter just disappeared. So we're going to add some more butter. I know y'all. We're going to add more butter. Just trust me. Just trust me. I'm going to add about a half a stick of butter. More butter. So now we're just going to add some chicken broth. We want to get all of it. Okay. We want them all to have that yummy chicken flavor. I don't want to stir it too much because I don't want it to fall apart, but I do want everything to get covered. If I see a part piece that's a little too wide, I'm going to cover it. Alright, and now we're going to put it in the air fryer. Okay, so I put that in the air fryer for 30 minutes at 300 degrees. I want it to go low. I want it to have time. Ooh, my fire was still on. I want it to have time to dry out, so without burning. So that's why I'm going low and slow on this. So we'll check in 30 minutes and check the consistency and go from there. Okay, so I've got about 30 minutes while the stuffing cooks, and so I'm gonna go ahead and try to get some of this mess under control. So hang on, I gotta turn on music for this, y'all. Okay, so the first thing you probably noticed is that that big pile of bowls and pans that were over by the sink are now piled up on that drawer. That's where I sometimes sit them to dry after I've washed them, but apparently I failed to record the actual act of washing and getting such a big satisfying task completed. So anyway, at this point in the video, I'm starting to lose steam. I'm starting to get confused, overwhelmed. It looks like I'm dancing. I am trying to muster all the energy I have and to wake up my brain, but it's not working, and you're going to be able to see I'm going to start looking more and more confused. I'm sorry, y'all. I know I cannot dance, but I am just like, what am I doing? Why am I here? Just doing everything I can to try to figure out what's going on. And I decide finally, I'm just going to take a break. I can't recover from this, and I will come back later and I will finish this task and put things away, but it was just not time today. I was just done. My brain was just like, nope, I'm done. So let's move on. Okay, so I finished cleaning the kitchen and I took the stuffing out at about 45 minutes to 50 minutes. It was really good, but everybody started getting up, moving around, making a lot of noise, and I became way too distracted to finish what I'm doing. I'll try to do more later, but for today, I'm calling it a day. And I just want to remind you, take full advantage of those Teami discount codes, because you guys, especially the green powder, I cannot say enough good about it. I really, not only does it taste good, but I always feel great on those days whenever I drink one in the morning. So on that note, I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, y'all.